She's such a smart wife. This morning, she and her husband had a really bad argument. He came home after work still mad at her.
Why is she so difficult to be with sometimes?
He walked in the house ready for another fight. He walked in and found her cooking his favorite meal, chapati with beef stew. Worship music was playing in the house. "Hi, honey," she greeted him.
Hi.
He said back. He leaned on the kitchen wall, expecting the argument to continue. She is a woman who speaks her mind, but instead, she sang along to the worship song playing as she cooked. "You had a good day?" she asked as she added oil in the pan.
Why do you do this?
He asked. "Do what?" she asked, smiling. He stared at her, saying,
You make it so hard to stay mad at you.
"It's not me, it's God," she answered.
That explains the worship music. You surround the house with worship.
He said. She fed him a portion of the cooked chapati. He chewed. I learned the power of worship. Worship humbles both of us. It calms our spirit. I cannot stay mad at my husband when the presence of God fills our home. I cannot continue fights when God's peace lives in our home. She went back to the pan to cook some more when you come home. You shouldn't come home to a wife whose face and tone is ready for war. You should come home to my face glowing because of God's glory. Worship keeps me in check. He moved to her, held her by the waist and kissed her neck, then said,
Worship reminds me that I am loving God's daughter. Worship cuts off my ego because there can be no worship without humility and submission.
She turned off the cooking heat and turned to face him. She giggled. Look at us. Just this morning we were shouting and mad. Now you're holding me so close, she told him and kissed his lips.
That's what happens when my wife is my fellow worshiper.
He kissed her lips. A man who has submitted himself to God is so easy to love, she told him.
You asked how my day was. I didn't have such a good day after that fight with you earlier today, but the day will end well with you.
He knelt down beside her. What are you doing, honey? Asking me to be your wife. Again. She wondered. He smiled and answered.
Every day I choose you to be my wife. I am kneeling down because I want to worship God. Please join me.
She knelt down next to him, his hand holding her. She said, every day, I say yes to being your wife. Let's worship. Sorry for shouting at you, she told him. Sorry
for being difficult sometimes,
he told her. Him and the wife worshipped. No marriage that is led by and anchored in God will fall. Is your home full of the presence of God?